a guy that knows a lot about the Phillies because he's been covering the Phillies since 2007. He was part of the 93 wacky squad that they're going to celebrate on June 10th. Let's go to the Toms River Volkswagen Sports Hotline and welcome into the locker room, Larry Anderson. What's up, L.A.?
How you doing?
All right.
Good here.
L.A., before we get started, you guys are going to be Phillies are going to celebrate the 93 team. And I'll tell you what, every time there's a rain delay, I see that high hopes, and I get chills up and down my spine.
That was some kind of special season. It took. I signed in '71, and '93 was probably the first year or the only year that my visions of what big league baseball was like. That's when it came to fruition. It took that long, but man, talk about a team that just was fun to play on, to be a part of. Where we played hard on the field, we played hard off the field. I don't think anybody will question that. But the thing is, when this team crossed that line at the start of the game, it was game on, and they knew how to play. They played the game right. They had instincts. And we policed ourselves, and we just made it. This is our club, and we're going to do with it what we want, and we're going to have fun, and we're going to be exciting. And it was. I mean, it was a great time.
You guys sure were exciting. We had Mickey Morandini on, I guess, last week, talking about that. He said the exact same thing that you're saying, and the city identified with this team, and the team identified with the city. You guys were the epitome of Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think it's we're just down and dirty, grinding it out, and it's I don't know. I think the East Coast, this area, Mid Atlantic, the blue collar. Let's get down. Let's get to work. Let's take care of business and get it done with. And I think that people gravitate to that in this city, and they appreciate that. It's the hard workers what they're looking at, and they saw the way that these guys were just. I don't want to say a bunch of dirt balls. There were a few, but they went out and did what they had to do, and there was no backing off. It was just, we're going to do this, and it was a mindset we had, really.
And now, L.A., you just referred to the fact that you had fun, and it seems like right now this Philadelphia Phillies team has some components in place. Not only are they playing well and exciting, fun to watch, the pitching staff especially, but they look like they're having fun.
Yeah, these guys, a lot of them came up through the minor leagues together, and they won at every level. A lot of these guys, the core, and so having them come up here, these youngsters with some veterans mixed in, I think they've got that atmosphere. They know how to win, and it was a long time in the minor leagues. The Phils, for a long time, struggled in the minor leagues. They didn't have winning teams throughout the minor league system, and you could see it when they got to the big leagues that. It was there wasn't that winning attitude. It was just, hey, I'm here, I'm happy, which is everybody goes through that. But once you settle in, then it's like, we're gonna have fun, we gotta go to the park, we're gonna win some games. But they didn't have that winning attitude, and it's you can't win. Like, you leave spring training, you have to have in your mind, we're going to the World Series. And I think this team really has that in their mind.
And
if you don't have that in your mind, you can't make it, period.
Hey, listen, L.A., going into the Eagles season, nobody anticipated what we saw. Everybody had them going 9-7, 10-6.
Right.
Mediocre, right? So anything's possible in sport.
No question. And I think, I don't always agree with Gabe Kapler in things he does or says, but that doesn't matter. What matters is these players like playing for him. And when they come to the ballpark and they have that positive attitude and they like coming to the park, and they are a team, they've been together for a number of years. They have that attitude. They come out and they play for him, and they're very relaxed. He lets them kind of do what they want. It's so far it's working, and that's all that matters.
We're talking with Larry Anderson. He's in the broadcast booth. Of course, you're only doing home games. You're kind of semi-retired, but you just alluded to Gabe Kapler and some of the things that he says. He had a rough start, but he seems to be adapting maybe to, obviously it's a learning process. It's the first time he's ever been a manager,
right.
But it's like a new wave approach to managing L.A.?
I think partially it is. I think more than anything, it's the analytics, the sabermetric stuff that I can't even. I won't even start because I can't. I don't know what any of it means. It would take 10 shows to try and figure out FIP plus, which I don't know what that is either, but I know it's one of those acronyms. And so, but it's, I guess, if it's something that he's telling the players that they're buying into that's going to help them, hey, any advantage you can get, that's what it is. I just don't understand any of it, so it's hard for me to talk about it. But
LA, when you're winning, it's easier to deal with things. It's how you handle situations and what the things you say when you're losing that defines a manager, right?
Yeah, no question. And I think these guys have had some tough losses. They had one in L.A. They've had some late game losses, and a lot of times that'll set teams into a tailspin. But these guys, the resiliency is one thing that's really, really good to see. They lose a game and it's over. Obviously they're upset or whatever, but they come to the park the next day and say, "Hey, we're going to win this game. We're going to turn it around." And the key to that to me is Nola and Arrieta.
No doubt about
those
it.
guys are going to keep you from having prolonged losing streaks. I think that they're going to win the games. They're going to win the game after a loss. Arrieta did it at Dodger Stadium. It's just key. It's huge to have that. And I think those two guys are going to put the team over the top. But are the other three guys in the rotation going to drag them down to the bottom? There's a lot of inconsistency in the 3, 4, and 5. Not that they don't have the stuff. Pivetta, I really think Pivetta is going to be
I like Nick Pivetta.
Really good big league pitcher, but he's got to continue to make adjustments. Last night, 90-something pitches in 4 innings and 3-2 counts, and part of it, I think he got away from his fastball. It's like, dude, you got 95 to 97 on your fastball with movement and pretty good command. And you do have a good breaking ball, but it doesn't mean you have to throw your breaking ball every time. I think he lost sight of his fastball, both he and Knapp, in the game call, and I think he got away from it, and I think that hurt him.
Hey, Larry, this is Josh.
The consistency they need. Yeah, Josh.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, you touched on Aaron Nola, and you could argue he's the second best pitcher in the National League right now. I mean, the guy's having a phenomenal season. He's 8th in all of baseball in ERA. What is the major transformation over the last couple of years to this year that you have seen that has taken him to this level?
I think there's 2 things. One, his legs, using his legs and his delivery. When he went down last year on I think it was rehab, and he worked with Ray Burris, and he came back and he was using his legs. He was. And you can see when he finishes, he's finishing going to the catcher. He's using his back. He's using his legs, and it's giving him more velocity. Now with that, he also came up with a changeup. I mean, he had it, but he worked on it a year and a half ago in the winter. It's all he did: play catch, throwing changeups. He come to spring training, he throws about 50% changeups in his games, and he got the feel of it. And that's been a huge pitch for him, especially against the lefties. But everything to me comes down to fastball command, and he has that, and it makes all his other stuff better. So between the fastball command, coming up with that changeup, and using his legs, I mean, there's no stopping him. I mean, he is what he is, and he is good. There's no question, and I agree with you. Behind Scherzer, I don't know who's better than Nola in the National League right now. I mean, he's been unbelievable. And it's fun to watch.
Oh, absolutely, man. We're digging it.
One more for you, LA, and I appreciate you coming on the show today. I heard an interview with Nick Pivetta a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about the fact that the value of having a guy like Jake Arrieta in that dugout with this team, about how the guys can talk to him about things, how he's helping the guys. How important is it to have a veteran guy like Arrieta on such a young pitching staff like this?
I think it's huge because you've got somebody that, as these are young pitchers, they look up to him. They've seen what he's done. They've seen the Cy Young. They've seen the no-hitter. They've seen the success he's had. They've also, I don't know if they all know, but they should know how bad he was when he was with Baltimore. he couldn't throw a strike. I remember watching him down. I'm like, oh my gosh, and talking to Jim Palmer about it. I said, this guy's got unbelievable stuff, but he can't throw the ball near the plate. And whatever it was, whatever happened, he got it turned around, and his stuff became, it was already electric, but now he had command of it. And so for a guy like that to be there, to know, to the younger guys know, hey, I went through my struggles, but this is what I did. This is my work ethic. This is my preparation. And to be able to talk to them about pitches, about, sequences, what pitch here, what pitch there, and situations. It's invaluable to have that. And there's some guys who won't do that, that have been around veterans. Like, I don't want to help you. I don't want you taking my job. But my feeling is, help everybody you can. You're a team. Nobody's going to take your job. If you're getting people out, they're not going to take your job. And if a team decides, well, hey, we need to use you to get somebody else, well, so be it. You're still in the big leagues. You might not be with this team. You'll be with another team. If you're getting people out, you're going to pitch in the big leagues. So you have to look at it like, I want to help everybody. I want to help this team win every day. Every team I'm on, I want to help them win. And that's something that Arrieta, I think he enjoys that. I don't know if he relishes the role, but I think he enjoys being able to help these young kids, and that's huge.
High tide rises all boats, and you know what defined him as a true leader is when, I guess it was the Washington series, when Neris came in and blew that save.
Yeah.
And the way he conducted himself, LA, after that, in the interview afterwards, the post game interviews, I thought was like did so much for the other pitchers on the team.
Yes, and that you can't replace that. It's putting other guys ahead of yourself, and I think the fact, like I said, the Arrieta had struggled. Most every pitcher has been in that situation where, man, I just blew the game. I cost us a game, or I cost us a couple games. Nobody's trying to do that. Nobody wants to be the GOAT, and to have guys around you supporting you and lifting you up. I can't tell you what that means to a guy, like Neris, when it happened to him, or me, or anybody else it's happened to. It makes a huge difference.
All right, one last question for you, L.A. Rhys Hoskins had a great start last year. He's off. He had the beginning up until about April 27th. He was doing okay, and then all of a sudden the wheels came off. He's batting 134 with a 234 on base percentage in the last 97 at bats, and only 2 homers. How concerned are you about Rhys Hoskins?
I'm not real concerned about it. I think because of, it's so important for his timing with his little leg kick that if it's off, it sets everything off. And it's just a matter of getting that timing down, and it's taken him a while. And he's, it's still early in his career. He still hasn't got a full year in the big league. So I think what everybody's looking for and hoping for is, I don't think we're going to see the Hoskins we saw when he came up last year for a month and a half. Those numbers are just, they're unworldly, so you can't expect that. But something in between where he's at now and where he was last August, the consistency, I think that's what they're missing right now with his bat. The other thing is he keeps him in the 2-hole, and he has not done anything in the 2-hole, and it might not make one difference whatsoever, physically or the way the numbers come out, but mentally it's like, I want to say, take him out of the 2-hole for a few games. Yeah. Put him at 6, put him at 5, but get him
take
out
the
of
pressure off.
If the same thing's happening over and over and you keep expecting different results, that's insanity, right?
Absolutely. So, I couldn't agree with you more.
To me, put him down at 5th or 6th. Let him go somewhere else and get his timing back. And if he gets it back and he starts swinging like we expect him to, then you want to put him back in a number 2, he'll do it then. But right now, I think every little bit that's dragging him down, everything that's negative about him is coming from that 2-hole. And I'd personally just like to see him move. But, Kapler has his reasons, and he's got a reason for what he does. And so I don't have to agree with him, but he's got a reason for it. It's not like he's just doing it, just pulling his name out of a hat. So, and with the way the team's playing, you have to respect that. I do.
Well, we'll have to see how it goes, because at least, like you said, they're winning. So you don't want to upset the apple cart. But listen, LA, man, we really appreciate you taking time out on Saturday to talk to us, talking baseball, Phillies baseball, and it's exciting when we're going in the summer. We have something to cheer for.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely, no question. Happy to help. Glad to be here.
All right, LA, thanks so much, and we'll talk to you again.
Sounds good.
That's Larry Anderson on the Toms River Volkswagen Sports Hotline.